Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new video. So this is my 2018 F80 competition. The color is mineral gray metallic. Love this color, looks beautiful. It's very underrated. I feel like a lot of people just pass this color along, but when you see it in person, when you see it properly cared for, it is an absolutely beautiful color. Now, I purchased this car used, obviously. It's 2024. So I purchased this a little less than a year ago. The previous owner actually had this car PPF'd at 700 miles. He also had it ceramic coated at that time as well. So the paint is in fantastic condition. There is no chips, there's no weird stories or anything with the paint. It's beautiful shape, and the PPF is actually holding up very well. Personally, I'm not a big PPF kind of person, but since the car already had it, it does have some value to it to me. I would personally want to pay for it if you guys want my take on PPF, but since it's already on there and it's very well done and holding up well, it's not turning yellow or anything, I'm gonna hang on to it for a little while. Then in the future, possibly take it off and then kind of start from scratch, and then just enjoy perfect paint, in a few years from now if I decide to take it off. But what I'm decided to do is actually refresh the coating on the car. Now, as I mentioned, it's PPF'd, but over time, the ceramic coating can fail, just from washes and just over time. It doesn't last forever. So what I want to do is get it up to my spec, get it up to my standards. Now, as I mentioned, it's still in really good shape. It's holding up very well, but I can definitely see some spots over time of the ceramic sort of failing. So what I want to do is just get the car kind of where I want it and get my preferred coating on here so I know it's done and done well. So that is what we're going to do. But what I want to do is kind of walk you through the process of how I personally, paint correct as well as getting a car ceramic coated. Now, I showed the whole process with my STI years ago. It's pretty old by now, so I want to do an updated video. Now, this one's going to be a little bit different just because the car is in such good shape, so it doesn't really need a serious paint correction. What I'm basically going to be doing is what I call a jeweling. So I'm going to be going over the paint with my polisher, but it's not going to be anything detrimental. It's not going to completely change, or we're not going to be doing some serious correction. We don't have to get deep and down into the clear coat. It's going to be really hard to see, but there is no scratches literally anywhere on the car. It's in beautiful shape. So what I want to do is just kind of bring back that depth, bring back some of the shine, and just make it look, as I mentioned, up to my standards. So we're going to be doing a jeweling on the paint. We're not going to be doing a full deep correction. It doesn't need it. But this is going to be my first time correcting with PPF, so it should be interesting. So I kind of want to start light and just kind of go from there. But I'm going to keep it light and simple. Probably going to just do a Rupes yellow foam pad with some Sonex Perfect Finish, and then go from there, depending on, how it corrects and how it looks after a few passes. Maybe we'll move to a more abrasive pad or a more abrasive polish, but honestly, I don't think we're gonna need it. So what I plan on doing is break it into 3 different videos, kind of a little series, if you will. This video is gonna be decon. I'm gonna be deconning the paint, getting it ready to polish. Second video is gonna be polishing the car. And third is going to be ceramic coating. I figured that's the kind of best way to do it so you guys can see each process. I'll try to make these videos as detailed and as informative as possible, so there's no questions or anything like that, so you guys can follow along. But for the sake of the video, I've already got this paint deconned. And what I mean by that is I've already washed the car, stripped off any of the previous coating or sealant or anything that may have been on the paint. Personally, I just use Dawn. You can use a dedicated decon soap, like Obsessed Garage has one. I know there's a few others out there, but I have Dawn in the house. It's what I've always used when I detail or paint correct cars, and it's worked wonders. It's super cheap, and it does a really good job at it. So I just use Dawn, same Dawn that you use to wash your dishes. We always have it readily available since we use it in the house. So all I do is just do a normal car wash, but I use with Dawn instead of my normal Kachemi GSF. So what that does is strip anything off, and then it kind of gets it ready for the next step. What I'm gonna be doing in this video is actually the auto scrub. Now, there's 2 different ways to be doing this. You can actually use this, what I prefer using. This is the auto scrub by Nanoskin, or you can use a dedicated clay bar. I've been using clay bars for years, but as time progressed, I prefer the auto scrub. Basically, it's like a rubber backing here, and it's just so much faster. Personally, I think it works a little bit better. Less chances of scratching the paint with the auto scrub as opposed to clay. With clay, you can actually get contaminants and everything stuck in the clay when you don't know, and potentially scratch the paint. Granted, you are polishing and paint correcting, so it's not the end of the world, but I just found the auto scrub for a car like this in this kind of condition just works better. It's really simple, really easy to use. So what I'm going to do is walk you through the whole process of this, and then next video we'll be going on to the actual paint correction. So let me go ahead and get set up, show everything that you need, and we can start auto scrubbing. All right, so we got everything set up. This is all I use to auto scrub clay bar, same difference. Got my auto scrub. I like the size of this one, fits nice in your hand. Now for the actual lubrication that I just use Dawn dish soap, same thing I did to wash the car, in a bucket with some warm water. That is it. I know some people use detail spray and some other products and everything, but Dawn, super cheap, gets the job done, keeps it nice and soapy, it glides really well on the paint, and it does a good job at decontaminating and pulling up all the contaminants in the pores of the paint and everything. So that is it. All we're simply gonna do is throw our auto scrub into the paint, or sorry, into the soapy bucket here, kind of squeeze it out, and that is all you need. So as you can see, it's nice and soapy, and you just wanna make sure you keep it lubed up like this at all times. You can tell when it's time to dip it back in here and rinse it, when it starts kind of sticking to the paint a little bit. So we're gonna go over to the paint and just start going in a similar kind of motion along the whole paint. You can actually squeeze some of the soap on there, and that's about it. Now, all you're gonna be doing is kind of scrubbing and waiting to hear a smooth sound. It's kind of hard to hear on camera, but like right here, super smooth. Over here, it's kind of rough. So I don't know if you can really tell on camera, but this is what you're looking for, a really smooth sound as opposed to a little bit more rough area. So that's the kind of area that I do. Squeeze it back out and then continue on. So we're gonna be doing the whole entire car like this. As you can see, it's much faster than clay, at least I think. And I like the fact that you can just rinse it in the solution here as opposed to having to re-knead the clay and pull out contaminants and everything and make sure you're not scratching and all that. So it's a lot more involved, takes a lot more time. And I do think that it gives you the same result overall. It's up to you. You can obviously use clay or nano scrub, but personally, once I used this for the first time, I just never went back to clay. And I just never found the need. I just found that this works best, gets the job done, and it's super quick. I can do a whole car in like 20, 25 minutes, whereas I feel a clay bar took like an hour going over each panel and repulling and kneading the clay and everything, making sure it's all good. And if you drop the clay on the ground, it was the end of the world and you couldn't use that piece anymore. This, all you gotta do is just rinse off, which is really, really nice. So as you can see, really simple. I'm gonna go ahead and get the hood done, and then we'll kind of move around the car and I'll kind of show you the progress, and then we'll go from there. All right, so I got the hood finish, and what I do is take a damp cloth with some clean water and basically just wipe it down. Now, if you're doing a wash after this, you don't necessarily have to do this step, but I just like to kind of wipe it down so I can see if there's any areas that I need to re-hit. Like right here, I see a little area a little black spot that can come up easily. Actually, I think I just got it. Yep. So it's kind of a good way to kind of check your work, make sure that you're getting as much of the contaminants up out of the pores of the paint as possible, as opposed to just doing the entire car and then, being finished with the auto scrub, and then when you're polishing, you find spots. So this way, I do one panel at a time, wipe it down, check my work, and then move on. Kind of just like polishing, you're doing a panel at a time, an area at a time, checking your work, and then moving on. And this is the way that I can kind of prefer it. Now, keep in mind, this is not the most perfect way to do things. This is the way I do things. So take it for what it's worth. This is the way that I've always done it, and it's worked very well for me over the years. So, if you see other people doing it differently, totally fine. That's their method. This is just my method that I've kind of taught myself over the years, and then what I preferred and tried a million different ways. And this way it just works for me. So now that we got the hood finish, I'm going to move on to the roof. I kind of like doing all the panels facing up first. then move on to the sides, front and rear bumpers, fenders, and so on and so forth. I also do the glass as well, so you can do it straight on the glass to get any contaminants off of that, make it super clean. We're going to be coating the glass as well too with the same stuff, same G-Technic CSL and XOV5. Got new bottles on the way to get that done as well. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the roof. All right guys, progress so far. We got the hood, front windshield, roof, back window, and then the rear top of the trunk done. So all these surfaces facing up are completed. I'm going to move on to the side windows, get the side of the car done. Same thing on the other side. Then I usually do the front and rear bumpers last. I don't know why, that's just the way that I do it. The wheels were just coated, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do them, but well, depending on I guess how deep I get into this, I may just take them off and do fresh coating on there, but they were just coated not that long ago, and they don't have that many miles on them, so we'll see about the wheels. But so I'm gonna jump onto the windows, get those done. Same thing as the other panels that I did. You're just gonna do the swift quick motions, kind of work your way through it. The panels that I already did, you can tell there's nothing on it. My fingers get stuck on it, whereas the side feels a lot more smooth, a lot more glossy, just because I didn't strip it completely down with the auto scrub yet. So definitely doing a good job getting it done. So yeah, let's just keep moving along. I usually like doing the decon stage the day before I start polishing, just because it gives it a full day for the all the cracks and crevices to dry. Because the worst part about paint correcting is if you do it directly after a decon wash or a decon with the auto scrub, some of the water and the residual gets stuck in the crevices, and then when you're polishing it gets onto the pad and it's kind of a mess. So I always like doing it the day before, let the car dry overnight, and then we jump on to the polishing the next day. So yeah, let me go ahead and just keep on trucking through this, get this done, and then we'll wrap the video up. All right guys, so the entire car has been auto scrubbed and it is set for paint correction. Now, as I mentioned, I like doing this the day before just so I can let everything dry and just all the cracks and crevices and everything. There's no water leaking out because I hate getting it on the pad and it's just an absolute mess. So I'm going to wrap it up here. I figured this video would be helpful so everyone can see step by step of how I personally detail, paint correct, and ceramic coat my cars, and how I get it done, because a lot of people always ask me how to do it, you know, what are the steps involved, what are the things that I need. So breaking it down into these few videos, I think it's going to be really helpful. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. I'm going to leave a link below for the auto scrub and anything else that I use in this video, which wasn't much, but I'll leave it in the links below. So if you're interested in getting this done, you can just use the links below and you can get everything accomplished just the way that I did, and get it ready and prepped for correction. So next video, we're going to be doing the paint correction, kind of dialing everything in, getting it to where I want it, and getting it ready for ceramic coats. I'm going to show you everything that I use in that video as well, step by step, just like I did in this video. So if you guys have any questions at all about the auto scrub decon process, leave them in the comments below. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.